Roger Keith Syd Barrett was born January 6th in 1946 in Cambridge, England. He was the fourth of 5 children in a middle-class family, growing up in a household filled with creativity, music, and intellectual curiosity. From a young age, Barrett demonstrated a flair for the artistic. He wrote poetry, played musical instruments, painted, and showed a strong interest in the performing arts. His father, a respected pathologist, passed away when Syd was still a teenager, a traumatic event that some later speculated may have had a lingering emotional impact on him. He became involved in the local music scene in Cambridge, playing in various amateur bands and experimenting with sound and composition. Along the way, he developed close friendships with Roger Waters and David Gilmour, connections that later became central to his musical journey. Not just another brick in the wall.
When he was born, he screamed, and then as soon as he was about 18 months old, could hold a pencil, he calmed down. And that was the way all his life. He needed to express himself on paper.
By 1966, Pink Floyd had become a prominent presence in the London underground scene. Barrett, as lead vocalist, guitarist, and primary songwriter, gave the band a distinctive psychedelic identity. While other bands were chasing pop hits, Pink Floyd was building soundscapes, songs that blended whimsical lyrics, improvisational guitar work, and surreal atmospheres. Barrett's songs were often childlike in tone, yet deeply layered in imagination and metaphor. The release of their first 2 singles, Arnold Lane and See Emily Play, signaled a new direction in British rock. Arnold Lane, with its tale of a cross-dressing underwear thief, was banned by some radio stations but still managed to chart. See Emily Play was even more successful, entering the UK top 10. These tracks, showcasing Barrett's lyrical eccentricity and sonic inventiveness, earned the band both critical and commercial acclaim. Their 1967 debut album, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, was a triumph of British psychedelia. Featuring songs like Lucifer Sam, Interstellar Overdrive, and Astronomy Domine, it was unlike anything else being released at the time. The album's mix of whimsical storytelling, cosmic imagery, and experimental sounds cemented Barrett's reputation as a true innovator. He was hailed as the face of a new musical revolution. But as the spotlight intensified, so too did the pressures, and the cracks began to show. There was widespread speculation about Barrett's mental health, tar during live shows, initially with the hope that Barrett would remain a studio-bound songwriter. But within a few months, the decision was made. Barrett was out of the band he had founded. Barrett's departure was quiet but tragic. In 1968, Pink Floyd officially moved forward as a quartet, with Gilmour taking over guitar duties. Barrett, meanwhile, retreated from public life, his mind a labyrinth he could no longer navigate with the ease he once had. Over time, the Madcap Laughs in particular gained reverence for its vulnerability and haunting tone. After his final retreat from music, Barrett returned to Cambridge, where he lived in near-total obscurity. He resumed using his birth name, Roger, and lived in his mother's home for many years. Later, he moved into a modest, semi-detached house in the same city, where he spent time painting, gardening, and reading. Despite widespread media interest, he refused all interviews and correspondence related to Pink Floyd. Though often referred to as a recluse, those close to him noted he wasn't asocial, just fiercely private. He reportedly enjoyed riding his bicycle around Cambridge and visiting local shops. He kept in touch with a few family members and neighbors, but made no attempt to reconnect with his past in the music industry. Throughout the 80s and 90s, his legend only grew. Pink Floyd fans viewed him as a lost genius, a symbol of creativity undone by excess and fragility. The band themselves continued to honor his influence. The 1975 album Wish You Were Here was a direct tribute to Syd, particularly the 9-part epic Shine On You Crazy Diamond. Barrett even showed up unannounced at Abbey Road Studios during the album's recording sessions, shocking the band with his changed appearance and distant demeanor. The encounter was so emotionally jarring, it reportedly left Roger Waters in tears. Syd Barrett died July 7, 2006 at age 60 due to complications from pancreatic cancer. He had also suffered from diabetes in his later years. News of his death was met with an outpouring of tributes from fans, musicians, and media outlets across the globe. Pink Floyd issued a collective statement honoring his memory and influence. His music, once marginalized and misunderstood, was celebrated as visionary. His funeral was held in Cambridge on July 18, 2006. It was a small, quiet affair attended only by close family members. One of the most frequently asked questions was why did none of the members of Pink Floyd attend? Respecting family wishes. Syd's family, particularly his mother and sister, had long requested that his former bandmates not attempt to contact him. They believed reminders of his past life in music and fame caused him distress and prolonged depressive episodes. It's understood that they extended this boundary to even his funeral, desiring a quiet, personal ceremony without the media attention that the presence of the band members would inevitably attract. Protecting his legacy from spectacle. Had Waters, Gilmour, Mason, or Wright attended the service, it would almost certainly have drawn media frenzy. Paparazzi would have swarmed the event, and the quiet dignity of the occasion would have been compromised. Barrett's family sought to avoid turning his funeral into a public event or spectacle. Emotional distance and regret. In various interviews after Barrett's death, the surviving members expressed deep sorrow and reflection. David Gilmour, in particular, admitted he regretted not trying harder to keep in touch with Syd. There was a strong sense that all of them felt helpless, unable to bridge the emotional and psychological distance that Barrett had imposed. Roger Waters described their last meeting in the 70s as haunting. The emotional trauma of seeing their friend so changed had left a deep scar, and in some ways, attending the funeral might have reopened old wounds. The final goodbye had already happened. Many of the band members felt they had said their goodbyes to Barrett years earlier, whether at the Wish You Were Here sessions or in the quiet years that followed. In their own way, they had made peace with the loss of Syd before his death. By the time of his passing, they believed the best way to honor him was through music, not media appearances or public displays of mourning. Legacy.
Finally, I think it was David who said, Nick, do you recognize him? And I looked, and I think I either shrugged my shoulders, or at some point Dave sort of put me out of my misery and said, it's Syd.
Syd Barrett's story is a poignant blend of genius, fragility, and quiet dignity. He was a musical visionary whose ideas helped launch one of the most iconic bands in history. Yet his life took a turn that led him away from the spotlight into a world of seclusion and introspection. His death marked the end of a long and silent chapter, but not the end of his legacy. His influence lives on in Pink Floyd's music, in the countless artists he inspired, and in the hearts of fans who continue to explore the strange and beautiful worlds he created. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Pink Floyd song? Let us know in the comments section below.